Welcome to my latest Warhammer 40k battle report. Today, the firstborn Marines of the 13th are taken to the battle grid, and facing them are the Necrons. Today we're playing 2,000 points at Hammer and Anvil, lengthways deployment with Chilling Rain. Lengthways deployment might come back to bite me because the Necrons are the Hypercrypt Necrons, which means they can be picked up and redeploy either from strategic reserve or deep strike in again. There's 5 objectives down on the table, and you get 5 points for each primary objective that you control from the start of turn 2 onwards up to a maximum of 15. We'll be drawing the secondaries from the secondary mission deck. I think the battle mat is from gamemap.eu, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't think they sell it anymore and I couldn't find it on their website. Hopefully it's not from urbanmats.com. The scenery is definitely from urbanmats.com, but the battle mat might be from urbanmats.com, but it's probably from GameMap, but you can't get it anymore. Special rule is Chilling Rain, which means no additional special rules apply. Not only is the rain coming down, it is chilly, and this battle grid, this city was ruined thousands of years ago. Moss is growing up, trees are growing up through the ruins. And now the Necrons are growing up from underground as well, trying to push the Imperial inhabitants back. Not that there's any Imperial inhabitants in this ruined city, but over the one on the left, there's probably a couple over there. Not that the Necrons are alive either, they're sort of alive, they're mostly dead, and now we're going to make them mainly dead with the glorious 13th. A new challenger has entered the building. It's Josh. Say hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Where have you come from? Where did you go? Where have you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
We have come all the way from lovely Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
We together.
James.
You're today.
I'm today.
You're tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you flew in from Switzerland.
Indeed, yeah.
While you're in the UK, are you going to Warhammer World?
Unfortunately, not this time.
Are you going to go and see any castles?
Maybe.
Are you going to London? Are you doing
Yeah,
anything else while you're in the UK?
Me, just work, unfortunately.
Just
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
But you live in Switzerland. You've come in. Thanks for coming all this way.
It's
Glory.
my pleasure.
Do you play a lot in Switzerland?
Well, there's quite a few people there. I probably play about once a month. So.
Yeah. Big club. Nice club.
There's a good group of guys out there. Yeah.
Good.
So,
And today you've brought the Necrons.
I have indeed.
Thanks for coming all the way from Switzerland. You're my hero right now, both of you. This is 2,000 points on the dot. Sandstone Necrons, you get a +1 internet point, +2 internet points for using the Sandstone Necron thing from Midwinter Minis. Guy from Midwinter Minis, shout out. Would you like to talk us through? So Necrons, they get knocked down, they get back up again. You've got reanimation stuff.
Exactly.
You've brought a big stompy thing of doom, which you get from, is it in Imperial Armour? Where'd you get the rules for the Seroptic?
Exactly, yeah. It's the Imperial Armour.
Is it in the app these days as well?
It is in the app, luckily.
It is in the app, so it's not a Legend's Choice yet.
No, not quite yet.
Maybe next week.
Hopefully not.
And you're bringing the Hypercrypt Necrons, which means at the end of my turn, you can remove up to 3 units from the battle grid and then bring them back in from strategic reserve, either deep striking or on the edges.
Yeah, exactly.
But you brought an enhancement which allowed you to do that 4 times.
Yeah, exactly. The dimensional overseer.
On the Hexmark?
On the Hexmark Destroyer, yeah.
Not that you've got very many units.
No,
and you might not be doing it 4 times. Would you like to talk us through your list and what you've brought and things?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have... Let's start with the big guys. We have, as you mentioned before, the Seroptic Heavy Construct.
Yes.
He has 2 Singularity Generators. So good Terminator killers, these guys. There's 4d6 in total shots. Strength 10, AP 3, damage 4, dev wounds.
So 1 minute. Each gun is 2d6 shots.
Yeah.
And 4 damage a time.
And blast as well. So,
and blast.
Yeah.
And devastating wounds.
And dev wounds, yeah.
How many points is the thing?
He's quite a lot. I think he's about 540 points. So
wow.
Yeah.
So he's expensive in night cost.
He's an expensive boy, but he looks pretty cool.
What's his save?
Just 3-up save with a 5-up invul as well. And
okay.
Because of the Hypercrypt, there's a strap for 1 CP. You can give him a 4-up invul.
Brilliant. How many wounds has he got as well?
That's a great question.
Okay, we'll get back to that later. So he's basically a more expensive Imperial Knight, but then Knights only have their 5-up invulnerable save to shooting, whereas this has 5-up invulnerable save all the time. And obviously, in close combat, getting stomped on by one of these things is going to be quite painful.
It should be.
You'll probably need a plaster.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got?
What else? Well, on the other side, we've got the big boy, the Monolith.
Yes.
4 death rays, a particle whip, toughness 13, 2 up save.
Yeah.
Another tough boy. He's got his ability to bring infantry units from either in reserves or on the table to within 6 inches of him. So you can teleport the guys around.
It's the Eternity Gate. After this moves, an infantry unit can just pop through it.
Exactly.
And if you put stuff in reserve in turn 1, technically you can pop through a unit in turn 1 from out of reserves.
Yeah.
There's also a 2CB stratagem where you can come charging out of it.
Exactly, yeah. So if you can't charge after you use the ability, but if you pay 2 CP, you can. So
you've got a unit of Scorpic destroyers.
Some Scorpic destroyers.
You might take advantage of that.
You may well. That's the hope. With 2 little plasma sites, which gives them devastating wounds if they use one of those as well.
Okay. And then the Void Dragon.
The Void Dragon himself, he needs no introduction. He's the vehicle killer.
Yeah.
Spear of the Void Dragon, anti-vehicle 2+. He should be able to do some work.
I thought Fear was the vehicle killer. It's a June reference right there. So he's tough as all hell because he's got a 4 up invulnerable save, halves all damage, 5 up feel no pain, recovers wounds. I don't know what they were smoking when they came up with the rules for Catans in this edition, but
we'll see how long that lasts. But whilst we have him, we're going to use him because he looks very cool as well.
If you can hear the plane outside, please ignore it. So the Void Dragon should be quite hard to kill. The Monolith should be quite hard to kill. And this thing, well, that looks easy to kill. I mean, just a couple of bolt guns, right?
Yeah,
take down that big thing.
Should do the job.
Nice. What else we got?
What else? We have got a Hexmark Destroyer.
Yes.
He's got the lone op, so you can't shoot him outside of 12 inches.
Yes.
And he's got the enhancement, which gives him the extra uppy downy for your army, basically.
Yeah. And he overwatches.
He overwatches for free, and he overwatches on a 2 up as well. And
nice.
He also can shoot back at things if they shoot units within 3 inches of him.
Okay.
Else we have 2 units of 10 Tesla Immortals.
Yes.
One is led by a Plasmancer who gives 5+ critical hits. And he also has the Arisen Tyrant enhancement, which lets him reroll ones to hit, or if they set up on the battlefield this turn, which hopefully they'll be doing almost every turn with the Hypercrypt.
Yes.
They reroll all hits, so you can reroll all hits, fishing for those 5-up critical hits, which on the Tesla sustained hits too. So lots of hits.
Okay.
Immortals as well. Automatically reroll ones to wound, and on objectives they reroll all wounds. If the enemy is on the objective, they reroll all wounds. So,
wow. So 1 minute, synergy. So if these come walking on from the board edge, or if they deploy out of the Eternity Gate here, they're going to be rerolling all hits.
Yes.
And 5s to hit explode twice.
Yes.
And then reroll ones to wound because they're immortals. And if I'm in range of an objective, reroll wounds.
Yes.
So rerolling all hits, rerolling all wounds.
Yeah. No AP, but that's a lot of shots.
It's a many shots, big wow. Yeah. I like the synergy there.
Another unit of them with the Chronomancer, yeah.
Yeah.
He gives -1 to hit to the unit, and also he can let the unit move 5 inches after they've shot. So a bit of a move, shoot, move thing going on.
Okay. He
also has the Osteoclave Fulcrum enhancement, which gives the unit deep strike. So they have a bit more flexibility if they pick up and come down with the Hypercrypt, that they can set up a bit more flexibly.
What's it called?
The Osteoclave Fulcrum.
That's so pleased.
Don't quote me on that.
You got it right both times. Awesome. And then he's giving them the reroll ones to hit and the reroll. So these rerolling to hit, they don't have the
no reroll hits. Just the reroll.
Just the reroll wins.
So a little bit less dangerous, but a bit more movement stuff.
And a couple of unit of death marks.
Exactly. 2 units of 5 death marks to finish this. They have deep strike built in. So they should jump around, maybe do some secondaries, maybe kill some characters if they're lucky. We'll see what they get up to.
They're going to be good for behind enemy lines, good for engage on all fronts, investigate signals, things like that.
That's the plan.
And they shouldn't be targeted too much, jumping up, jumping down. So you've got some nice, big, chonky threats moving forward. You've got quite a bit of horde killing in the middle. There is some punch with the Catan and with the Scorpic destroyers, and some scoring options over here.
That's it.
It's a nice list. It's gorgeously painted. Shout out Guy from Midwinter Minis. Check out his videos on how to paint sandstone Necrons like this. Or you could check out a certain video on Winter's SEO on how I painted my Necrons. These look better though. Anyway, let's go on to the 13th. And this is 2,000 points of the glorious 13th. All the firstborn today. We're using the Gladius Strike Force because I like the flexibility of the Gladius Strike Force. The ability to advance and shoot, the ability to advance and charge, or fall back and charge, depending on whether you're using the Tactical Assault or Devastator Doctrine. I haven't got any enhancements in this list, but I still have Oath of Moment. And what we've got is Chief Librarian Sagan Mir, who gives a unit of Terminators. These Terminators sustain hits. They're going to be jumping outside of a Land Raider Crusader and a unit of Grav Centurions outside of a God Hammer pattern Land Raider. Grav Centurions, they're not the guns people normally bring, but I'm quite pleased I brought them today, considering that you've brought some really big, nasty vehicles along, because they're only strength 6, -1/3 damage, but they do have anti-vehicle 2 up. So on the big things that we're shooting at, it might potentially hurt them. They do have 4 wounds though, and the big guns on the Seroptech, what's it called?
Seraptic Heavy Construct.
Seraptic Heavy Construct of 4 damage. So they could be in trouble. But 2 big chonking Land Raiders. There's 2 drop pods in the backfield, which these 2 tactical squads are going to be dropping out as well. 1 squad has got Plasma. 1 squad have got Melter. Tactical squads can combat squad into 2 5-man squads. So there's no reason not to do that, even if you're putting them in the drop pod or not. So I'll probably combat them into 2 squads. Devastators with multi-melters, they'll be jumping out of a Razorback, because when they disembark from a Razorback, if they shoot at the same unit that the Razorback shot at, then they get to re-roll wounds. So you can do some nasty shenanigans there with re-rolling hits with Oath of Moment, re-rolling wounds because they just jumped out of a Razorback, if you manage to pull it off. Sometimes I've managed to pull it off. There's a Predator and 2 Dreadnoughts. The Dreadnoughts have multi-melters. There's Honoured Brother Matthias there. So I've got a little bit of punch with the Terminators moving up the table, quite a bit of Dakka, and deep striking shenanigans with some drop pods coming in. Drop pods as well can deep strike in turn 1. However, it doesn't matter where I'm deep striking in or wherever I'm moving to. The Necrons, the Hypercrypt Necrons, should be dancing all around them. Let's go on to deployment. And here we are after deployment. Everything for the Necrons is on the table, except for 1 little unit of Death Marks. One are hiding in. This sandstone is going to blend in. It's like camo effect for the Necrons in the ruins of their cities. But yeah, 1 unit of Death Marks is in reserve for now. Probably going to be popping out the monolith sometime soon. But remember, at the end of my turn, Josh can pick up to 4 units and bring them back in at the start of his turn, and everything of mine is on the table except for the 2 drop pods. And I combat squadded 1 of the 5 teams of drop pods and put 1 of them down here on my home objective. Not sure if the Dreadnought is going to leave them. Probably stay here, wait for you to deep strike in, and then kill them all. Don't know who's going first yet. Centurions on that side with the Dreadnought looking after them. Sagan Mir and the Terminators on this side. They can look after themselves. I am very intimidated by the big chonky things of doom over here and would really like to go first. So let's roll the dice. Do you want first turn?
I don't know, actually.
You don't know?
I think I wouldn't even mind second turn.
A second turn for Hypercrypt is quite good, right? Because I go first, then you pick up. If you go first, you kind of lose that opportunity in the first. Anyway, let's see what Zinch says. See what Zinch says. After you, sir.
Okay, let's see.
Zinch says you get a 1. And I get... So you got your way.
I have
the 13th, go first. And here are the orders for the 13th. In turn 1, cleanse objectives in no man's land and assassinate a character. Both of them are not good in the first turn. So at the end of turn 1, the 13th managed to cleanse 2 objectives. Unfortunately, I'm cleansing this objective round here with a Land Raider because line of sight is a thing. Can't see anything behind ruins. So he's just cleansing that one. And I dropped a pod in on this side. And that drop pod somehow is cleansing this objective over here. Maybe deploying a beacon of some kind. But that will be 5 points on the secondaries. No way I'm going to be getting assassinate this turn. And we did some spreading out because I'm aware of Hypercrypt shenanigans. And the other thing I did, the last thing I did, was declare the monolith as the Oath of Moment target. Can I one-shot a monolith? Maybe, because Josh is spending SCP on quantum deflection to give the monolith a 4-up invulnerable save. So let's start here with the team. that dropped out of the drop pod. We're going to be hitting on 3s, and we can reroll for Oath of Moment. And then we need 5s to wound because it is a monolith. Toughness 13. And there's 2 5s. 2 4-up and vulnerable saves.
Easy.
You make 1, fail 1. D6 damage, definitely not in melter range. That's a 6. That's what I call a good start. Then the bolters fired in and the anti-infantry weaponry just bounced. So now we're coming across to Razorback with a twin link las cannon, which misses, but Oath, which hits. And it's strength 12, it's a las cannon, but it's still wounding on 5s. Doesn't wound. There's a HK on the Razorback, and that hits. It's strength 14, I'm wounding on a 3, and that wounds, and that's another 4+ invulnerable save, sir. You fail that one as well. I think this is a flat D6, and that's 4. 10 wounds off the monolith. It starts on 22.
22. It's
on 12 remaining. So let's do the multi-melter team that jumped out of the Razorback. We're hitting on 4s. Now, Armorium Cherub, I can change one of these to a 6. Once per game, done that. And then these guys, I can re-roll for Oath of Moment. Okay, so all of them hit. Now it's 5s to wound. With a re-roll, because I jumped out of a thing. That's 2 so far. That was a 5. I knocked it over, honest Injun. 5s. We have 3 wounds. 3 more 4+ invulnerable saves. It's only got 12 wounds remaining. Can it make any of these? It can make
them
all 3 of them. Then I moved on to the Land Raider Crusader, firing the anti-infantry weapons, the Hurricane Bolters in, tickled off 1 more wound. Now we're on to the Twin Assault Cannon in the nose with Oath of Moment. This all needs 6s to wound as well, but they're devastating. Okay. So they will ignore your armor, and there's 1 6. There's 3 6s. So it's down to 8 wounds. Ouch. Now let's fire the multi-melter in with Oath of Moment. That is 2 hits. Need 5s to wound. That is a wound there. That is a 4-up invulnerable save. Can you make another one?
Invul coming up.
Yes, you can. And a Hunter Killer. What is that? That is a hit. 3s to wound. That is a wound. Another 4-up invulnerable save. No. D6 damage for 6 damage. It's on 2 remaining.
2 remaining.
So it's on 2 wounds. I have a Predator. Can the Predator take it down? And if the Predator can't take it down, it will live. 2 las cannon sponsoons. Both of them hit. 5s to wound. That one's really cocked. 1 wound. 1 more 4+ invulnerable save. No, you got this. No CP to reroll. You always spent it on your 4-up and burn. No, it's a 3. So what you're saying is, so long as I don't roll a 1, dead monolith.
Exactly.
And then that stops a lot of your shenanigans for jumping around and coming out and the things. You'll have to. This will be big, people.
You have a CP to reroll?
That's a 3. I don't need it. That's a dead monolith. Does it go boom boom? Or does it sink apart back into the ooze and the ruins of their cities? No. It just crumples. No explosion. And that's a 350-point model just gone in turn 1. And that is also the end of my shooting phase. In fact, that is the end of the turn for the 13th. There's no other things that I can do here, there, and everywhere. So it'll be 5 points to 0. Then at the end of my turn, you can pick up to 4 of your stuff and redeploy them. The Necrons want to take the center with area denial and deploy a teleport homer there or in the 13th's backfield. Here we are at the end of the Necrons movement phase. At the end of my turn, Josh picked up 2 units and put them back into strategic reserve. Now, the thing about deep striking in or reappearing on the battle grid from strategic reserve, you can't do it in turn 1. So he couldn't pick up a lot of stuff. The stuff he could pick up is the stuff that's coming back in on deep strike. So we had a unit of death marks pop in on the middle of the table. They're getting area denial. That's 5 points right there. They're right next to the central objective. And the unit of Tesla Immortals over here with all the sustained hit goodness that they have and 5 score. They're down here and they're deploying a teleport homer. So that'll be 5, 10 points for the Necrons. In turn 1, the Void Dragon staying still. The Scorpic Destroyer's down here doing a bit of yoga, practicing Pilates, downward dog. There's another unit of Necrons over here as well, chilling in the backfield for now. So I think the only thing that's shooting this turn is the nasty Seroptic Destroyer?
Seroptic Heavy Construct.
Seroptic Heavy Construct. So where you're firing the Heavy Construct then? Lots of targets down here for you to pick on.
We do. We've got 2 singularity generators, so of course we're going to do the thing that always works, and we're going to split fire. We're going to put the right one into this unit of Devastators.
Yeah, with all the multi-melters.
And the left one into the unit...
With the 2 melters.
The 2 melters.
Try and get rid of some of the melter threat that will be coming back at you.
That's the plan.
Yeah, it's definitely going to work.
2d6 shots on each one with blast, so
yes.
2d6 plus 1 on each unit.
Okay, so rolling for this unit here.
So in the right unit we have
8 shots in total. 3s to hit.
So hitting on 3s.
Yeah. 2s to wound, 6 is devastating.
6 is our devs.
There's a devastating wound, and there's 4 other wounds at AP -3.
-3.
So I need a bunch of 6s. I make 1 6, so you kill 4 of them. Now firing at unit number 2, number of shots.
We have 9 this time.
9?
On 3s.
Yep.
Another good roll.
That's good. That is 8 hits. There's a wound on 2s.
Wounding on 2s, 6 is a death. Ooh, 4
and there's 4
1s.
1s. 1 is dead, 3 6-up saves. I don't make any 6s, so 4 is dead. So there'll be 1 left in that unit, 1 left in this unit. That's the end of the Necron shooting phase. 1 minute, we've got some more shots. The death marks here, you've lined them up perfectly so they're seeing through the trees and shooting down at the unit on my home field objective down there. They're heavy though, so you are hitting on 4s.
They've got BS3, so they'll be 3s.
Okay.
Because heavy's out plus 1.
Yes, yes. Everything hits.
Everything hits.
Nice.
Start.
Strength 5, toughness 4.
So 3s to wound.
3 come through, -2 becomes -1 because of cover, and I don't make any saves whatsoever. You wipe out 3 of them. I'm tempted to CP re-roll 1 of them because there's only 5 guys down there, and I've got 2 CPs out there. So let's CP re-roll 1 of them. It doesn't help me. Only 2 holding on to that objective there, and now we're on to the charge phase. The massive construct charging both the pod and the last melter guy, screaming for the Emperor. You need an 8.
Let's go.
And that's Snake Eyes. That is definitely not an 8. You picked up a CP this turn.
I do. Do I want to
Come
use
closer
it?
to my lines.
You know what? Let's go for it.
Yes. Death or glory.
It's,
Death, it would seem, because that's a failed charge. And that is 10 points to 5 in favour of the Necrons. They're winning right now. However, in Space Marines turn 2, I'm going to pick up, even if I fail the battle shock on here, the Dreadnoughts in range of that objective. I'm going to pick up 5, 10, 15 points with the pod on this objective here, which gets the Space Marines up to 20 points at the start of turn 2. To the Necrons, 10 points. Now let's find out what my orders are. With massive constructs moving down towards the 13th lines, they've been ordered to defend their stronghold and take the tempting target in Nomadland. In the 13th movement phase, the target that you tempted me with was the one in the middle of the battle grid, because that was the only one I wasn't controlling, and Deathmarks have an OC of 1, Dreadnoughts have an OC of 3. All I need to do really is make the charge, and then I should take the tempting target, and I'm also defending my stronghold down here with the Predator and with the Dreadnought, and this unit of Space Marines are the only ones that failed their battle shock test. So they went back a little bit, trying to keep the deep strike back, because I'll score defend stronghold at the end of the Necron's turn, not at the end of my turn. And then the decision was whether to drop the drop pod in, and there was no real need to drop the drop pod in. It's just got some tacticals in it, and it's mainly here to either move, block, or get behind enemy lines, or engage on all fronts, or some of the secondaries like that. And then the other decision was, do I get any of the stuff out of the transports? Well, Centurions over here, nothing for them to deal with. Round this side, Saganmir and the Terminators. Now, I could have pushed forward and shot and go charging in to this Aurora giant construct, and it is my Oath of Moment target, but if it doesn't die to the weight of firepower coming into it, it'll be stamping on my Terminators, which is not a good thing. And what is even worse than that, all these Scorpic Destroyers are right behind it. And a Citan shard of a Star God right there. And I'll trade out my only close combat unit in turn 2. I don't want to do that. Instead, I'm just going to fire everything I can into it, moving the Land Raider back as well, because we've agreed there's easily, I can see the big claw on this side quite clearly. This is an individual ruin. This is an individual ruin. That's a gap. Can shoot through there. So essentially, last turn, all the guns went into the monolith. This turn, all the guns are going to come into the Giant Stalker of Doom. Are you spending a CP again?
Yeah, I think another CP on Quantum Deflection once more probably makes sense.
Okay, and that gets its 5 up to a 4 up. Let's fire this little melter in. Point blank range. He's a brave Space Marine. And he hits. I need a 5. He doesn't wound. The multi-melter needs 4s because it moved. And Oath of Moment, no. And that will need a 5 as well. And that doesn't wound. After the 2 infantry fired in, I fired in the drop pod and did a wound. Starts off on 24, it's down to 23. Let's fire the last cannon from the Razorback, which is re-rolling because of Oath of Moment. And strength 12, toughness 12. Needs 4s, but it is twin linked. And that wounds 4 up and vulnerable save. What you make? Then I fired in the Hurricane Bolters from the Crusader. They bounced. We're on to the Assault Cannon, which is hitting on 3s and then needs 6s to wound.
Sustain?
But it is twin linked. I don't think it's sustained. Okay. I think it's devastating. No. That's 1 more wound from the devastating wounds. Here is the multi-melter on the coupling. And both of them hit. This needs 5s. One of them wounds. Another 4 up and bun. And you make that one. That's really cool. Okay. Let's fire Land Raider number 2 in it. And Land Raider number 2 has not fired its Hunter Killer Missile, which is re-rolling because of Oath. It hits. And this will wound on a 3. It wounds. Another 4 up and bun.
Today, your dice.
Great saving. Great saving. Here's the Las Cannon Sponsoons firing in. They all hit. 4s to wound. 2 wounds. 2 more. 4 up and buns. You keep making 4 up and buns. It's brilliant. Then I fired the heavy bolter and then it bounced. So only 2 wounds so far. This is what I expected to happen with the monolith. I didn't expect to one-shot the monolith, but no. you didn't make many saves on the monolith. You're making all the saves on this guy.
He's doing pretty well so far.
It swung. I think I said off camera, if I manage to one-shot the monolith, I'm never going to be able to one-shot anything else afterwards.
Well, I guess it bounced out.
I spent all my luck. We're doing the Predator. Here's the Predator. Las Cannons on the side, which need 4s. That's another 4 up and vulnerable save.
Just the one?
Just 1.
Alrighty. That's a fail.
You finally fail one.
Yeah.
D6 plus 1 as the shields finally collapse, and that's 3 wounds. The Predator hasn't fired its HK yet, which is Oath of Momenting, and that hits. This a wound on a 3. That's a wound, and that's another failed save. HK does D6 damage for 3 more damage. Then Predator Auto Cannon. Oath of Moment. This needs 5s. 1 wound, but you're getting cover from this. So a 3 up save.
Oh dear.
And that's a flat 3 damage. And the nasty Canoptic Construct is down to 12 wounds remaining. Exactly half of its wounds and no more shots are going to ricochet into it. So it has a chance to heal and come back into this and fight and come crushing. It's scary, it's big, it's still alive. Okay. Last thing left to fire. Dreadnought, who wants to shoot and charge those death marks. Hits the death marks once. Wounds one of the death marks. 1 minute. That toughness 5, that toon doesn't wound.
Okay.
That's the end of my shooting phase.
Very good.
So I'm charging with the Dreadnought. Do you want to overwatch a Dreadnought with the death marks?
No.
Let's charge. We're charging 8. Honor Brother Mathias makes there, and we're going to tank shock. Let's do some impact hits on the way in. Looking for 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 mortal wounds on the way in. 1 guy left who gets punched on 3s and then shredded on 2s and needs to make 3 5-up saves and get eviscerated by the Ancient of the 13th. And I take that tempting target. And I've started to defend my stronghold down here, and that is the end of the 13th. Turn 2. More than that as well, I've pushed the Necrons off of every single objective except for their home field objective down here. But in turn 2, all the shenanigans and all the jumping around can happen And this construct is going to heal D3 wounds. So let's find out what the orders are for the Necrons in turn 2. After a number of Necron units flash back and disappear into the hyperstasis crypts, the orders come down through the new sphere? No, the other thing. Defend their stronghold and extend battle lines. Here we are at the end of the Necrons movement phase. Lots of shenanigans have happened as well. So, for example, reanimation. You put 1 wound back on this thing here. And then deep striking in on the battle grid from Strategic Reserve is this unit of Death Marks, and the Hexmark Destroyer is stood right on the home objective for the Necrons. You're defending that stronghold there. Slightly worried about the drop pod that could come in, because you need to be on it in order to score it. But I don't think I've got enough gun to try and shift you off it. As for picking up units and redeploying them, well, the Void Dragon came in on this flank here and looks like he wants to make a cheeky charge on that Land Raider. And if he fails the charge, he's taking that objective anyway. And you need to hold on to one of the central objectives as well as one of your home objectives for extend battle lines. So either the Void Dragon will do it, or down the middle, the Scorpic Destroyers came busting through the ruin and they want to charge my Dreadnought. That'll be extend battle lines. And then around the other side of the battle grid, this unit was picked up and redeployed as well. And the big, nasty Sparrow Destroyer wants to come in and take this objective. But there's 2 little fellas that have been professionally and tactically placed in front of him to move block him. So you're going to have to rinse those 2 away with all the Tesla fire first before you go charging in there. And you are slightly worried about the anti-infantry fire from the Land Raider that can come back at them. This is the pimp squad that can do all the tricks and things, right?
It is. This is the big damage unit, really.
That's the big damage unit with critical hits on 5s and re-rolling all the wounds and things. So shoot the 2 little guys, come charging through, and hopefully you'll have this objective and extend battle lines. Hopefully you'll defend your stronghold and charge the Dreadnought as well. And then the last unit that you picked up was the one that deployed a teleport homer over there.
Exactly.
And you spent a CP on Cosmic Precision.
Exactly, yeah.
So they deep strike back in here. In the FAQ, in the errata, it does tell you that even if a unit doesn't have deep strike, they can still use the Cosmic Precision strat and come in here. Right now, you're not OCing me off of that objective, but there's a Chronomancer there, so you can move, shoot, move, and then get on that objective. And then facing them will be a Dreadnought, will be a Predator, will be a lot of guns. But this is an 8-point swing. I would have picked up 3 points for defending my stronghold, plus 5 points for the primary. And points make prizes. So the Necrons are in the 13th lines, and they're to the right of them, and they're to the left of them. They're all around me as we go on to the shooting phase. So we're starting over here with the Void Dragon doing what now?
He has his data sheet ability, Matter Absorption. Basically, he points his finger at a vehicle, and on a D6, on a 2+, he takes D3 mortal wounds, and if he had lost any, he gets it back. So
there's a 2+, so D3 on the Land Raider. For 1 on the Land Raider. It's a start.
It's a good start.
He's got some other weapons as well. His Voltaic Staff, which he can throw.
Spear of the Void Dragon.
That's the one.
Just 1 shot, hits on 2s. That is a hit, and it's anti-vehicle 2+.
Wounds on a 2. That's a 1. And you spent your CP. You don't have any CP.
No
it smashes into the side of the Land Raider, but the ceramic plating holds firm.
As well, he has his Voltaic Storm. That's
nice.
D6 +3 blast, but not much use here, but sustained hits 2.
Okay.
So we get the big 6, so that's 9.
This will hit on 2s, but it's more of an anti-infantry weapon.
6 is sustained hits 2.
Nice.
So
okay.
2 extra dice we need there.
So you're up to 11 hits. If this was infantry, it would be really scary. But against a Land Raider, I think you need 5s to win.
Strength 7, so 5s to win.
Yeah.
That's a lot of 5s.
That was 7 5s.
No, it's absurd.
I thought there was no point for Oath of Moment to Armour of Contempt. But anyway, 3-up saves. I lose 6 wounds. Plus the little tickle that you did. 7 wounds in total. I think they start off on 16. It does start off on 16 wounds. It's only on 9 wounds remaining. If that Catan makes that charge, that might be a dead Land Raider. We're coming over here. The unit of Death Marks that dropped in. 2 of them can see the front guy. 3 of them can see the back guy. So we're shooting in to try and get rid of the infantry.
So first 2.
Yes.
They will be
1 hit.
1 hit.
Wounds on a 3.
Wounds on 3s.
That wounds. Lots of cover in the way. That wounds. That's a fail save, you kill him.
All right.
And then 3 shots into the other one. That is only 1 hit.
Just the 1 hit.
But can you wound him?
3 to wound. There's another wound.
That's a wound. Lots of cover in the way. And he makes the save. Then in your shooting phase, you're selecting his Finger of Doom from the Plasmancer, which is 6 dice.
Just the 4 dice.
4 dice.
4 ups do 1 mortal wound.
And that's 2 mortal wounds. He points his finger at this last Devastator and evaporates him. Next up, the Tesla squad are firing everything into the Razorback. This is all AP dash shots, but there's many shots. There's 20 shots. And you're hitting on 3s.
Hitting on 3s.
And then re-rolling all the hits because they were set up on the battlefield.
Exactly that.
Right, 5s and 6s explode, right? So you're picking up all the things that aren't 5s and 6s. Exactly. I love it.
And then take 2.
Take 2. That's a lot more 5s and 6s because each 5 and 6s counts as 3 hits essentially. Yeah. Wounding the Razorback on 5s, but re-rolling all wounds because the Razorback's in range of this objective. These are the hits so far. Here's the re-roll. So I have a bajillion 3-up saves. Each of these does 1 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8? 8. It's on 2 wounds remaining. Then the Plasmancer.
Plasmancer, 3 shots with his plasmic lance.
Yep.
Hitting on 4s only though.
Okay.
But he will re-roll the hit because he was set up on the battlefield.
Yes.
So that is just 1 hit. That's all he needs. Strength 7.
Yeah.
So 5 to wound, but re-rolling.
Re-rolling.
Let's have a look.
And that doesn't wound. So the Razorback is somehow still alive on 2 wounds remaining. I don't think he's long for this world though. There's a big ant. There's a big thing about to charge it. So now we're on to the giant construct Ant of Doom, firing 2 guns in. 1 is going into the Razorback on 2 wounds remaining. The other gun is going to come smashing into the Land Raider. And then you're probably charging the drop pod. So I'm going to do all I can to keep the Land Raider alive. I've got 2 CP, so I'm going to spend 1 on Smokescreen, so it's -1 to hit and has cover. And 1 on Armour of Contempt. Because the guns that come through it are a flat 4 damage, and I'd rather not lose this Land Raider and that Land Raider in turn 2. So firing at the Razorback first, 2d6 number of shots is 5 shots. This will hit the Razorback. Did we say Razorback? What's this?
That's a Razorback, exactly.
The Razorback, yeah, on 3s.
So 3s take the Razorback.
And 5s to wound.
It's strength 10, so 3.
Oh yeah, 3s to wound.
3 to wound.
Yeah.
With death wounds. Just
1 wound?
1 wound.
At -3?
At -3.
You're saying if I get a 6, you haven't killed a Razorback.
That is indeed what I'm saying.
I don't get a 6, you have killed the Razorback, and it doesn't deadly demise, it just crumples. 2d6 into the Land Raider.
Next up into the Land Raider.
That's 5. 5. I don't think it's... I think it's going to be fine.
I think it's going to be fine as well.
4s to hit. It's firing into smoke. 1 hit.
Just the 1 hit. And it's 5s to wound as well.
It is. It wounds.
Dev wound.
It's a dev wound, so I don't get a save. And it just shoots straight through and drops the Land Raider down to 12 wounds remaining. So 3 units have been wiped out on the left flank, and now we're coming on to the last thing left to shoot down here. What's the plan with the other unit of Tesla Immortals?
So the other plan here is we're going to do the best plan of all, which is split fire. We're going to put 5 Immortals into these 2 Marines left over there on the backfield objective.
Yes.
The other 5 and the Chronomancer are going to go into the Predator.
Yes, because they're AP dash weaponry, and shooting at the Dreadnought has a 2-up save, but the Predator has a 3-up save. And when the smoke clears, it looks like this. 2 wounds put on the Predator, 2 wounds put on the tactical squad, so there's 1 tactical Marine left standing there, and then you can move, shoot, move with the Chronomancer. Not within engagement range, but that is an 8-point swing. The 13th are definitely not defending that stronghold, and you have an OC of a bajillion. Right there, you've definitely taken that off of me, but they are danger close to a very, very angry Dreadnought. And that is the end of the shooting phase, and it was a pretty successful shooting phase so far, and it isn't over yet. We've got some charges coming on. This construct really wants to charge down the table and start smashing into Land Raiders and things, but there's a drop pod in the way. So it's like a 3 or a 4-inch charge to engage the drop pod. And that's a 9.
That should be enough.
Definitely going up the table. In the middle, we have the Scorpic Destroyers. This is a 4 or 5 into the Dreadnought. And that's a 4. We're going to need a measure. That was enough. It was just enough. It was a cat's whisker.
An absolute whisker.
But it is enough. Talking about trying to make long charges. Are you going in with the Catan?
We've got to try.
Okay, 9-inch charge with the Catan into Land Raider. And I can't even see it.
Well, it's not going to be enough because that's a 2.
Yeah, so that's cocked. So that will be a failed charge with the Catan. But you have got extended battle lines because you're all over these objectives. I don't have any CP to interrupt. Let's move the big Canoptic Doomstalker Construct Spider Ant in and fight here first. Smash, it gets into the drop pod. I think the drop pod's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. How many attacks have you got?
We have 6 attacks.
Brilliant, okay.
Hitting on 3s.
Okay. You only hit 3 times. It's going to be fine. What's the strength?
It is strength 14.
I'm toughness 7, so you're winning on 2s. It's not going to be fine. Oh, there's only 2 wounds. What's the AP?
It's AP 3, damage 5.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
There's always a chance.
6s. It's alive.
It's alive.
It's alive. It bounces into the drop pod.
No, it's not
Flat 5 damage. I think the pod's got 3 wounds remaining. How many points is your giant ant again?
I think 540.
540.
Yeah.
Can't take down a drop pod.
Yeah.
That happened. Anyway, something that definitely won't happen is this Dreadnought withstanding all the attacks from the Scorpic destroyers, spending one of the plasma sites, so you get devastating wounds. So you're hitting on 3s with these guys.
Hitting on 3s.
Yes.
Because we charged, we reroll everything.
Rerolling on the charge. I converted quite a few.
Pretty.
You're winning on 5s.
5 wounds.
6s are devastating. There's 2 devastating. 1 minute. There's literally 2 devastating and just 3 more.
Yeah.
That's
He's winning on 5s. It's about right.
4 up saves? I make all my saves. The Dreadnought's still alive. What happened to the Necron charge phase? What happened was that's Honoured Brother Matthias. He withstands the charge, turns around, lifts up his power claw, and hits you 3 times. At strength 12.
Toughness 6.
Wounds you only twice. -2, 3 damage a time. Each failed save will kill a Scorpec.
5 up saves.
And that's 2 failed saves. Take 2 of them down. But you have taken that objective. You do OC me off of it. You have engaged your battle lines. You are defending your stronghold. And you stop me defending my stronghold down here. But more than that, the Filthy Xenos are on 5 out of 5 of the objectives. I'm not going to pick up any points on the primaries. So at the end of turn 2, it's 25 points to the 13th. And 20 points to the Necrons. So at the end of the Necron's turn, I discarded Defend Stronghold to get an extra CP. Now I need to investigate signals in the corner of the battle grid and secure No Man's Land. Take any 2 objectives in No Man's Land. So in the movement phase, a lonely drop pod deep strikes into the corner of the battle grid. And much like the other drop pod, that one is investigating the signals, and the 2 units that got out of it are going to be firing everything into the unit that is currently defending your stronghold. Now, you could overwatch if I'm within 18.
Yes.
But I stayed over 18 inches away. Deathmarks have an
Well, yeah, it's a special ability that lets them shoot if they're within 18. If someone comes out of reserve within 18
within
inches.
18 of them. So I made sure they're further than 18 inches back. And then when I shoot them, the hex mark can shoot any unit that shot at something within 6 inches of a head mark. But its range is 18 as well.
Yeah.
So I kept a long way back there. That's me investigating signals. I don't think I'm going to stop you defending your stronghold. But we are going to pour a lot of firepower in. And we did call out the tactical doctrine, so I can fall back and charge. The drop pod obviously can't fall back. It's a drop pod. But Honoured Brother Matthias can. He fell back. He's going to shoot. He goes charging in there as well. You've got an OC of 3. You've got an OC of 2 each. I need to kill 3 of them to stop you scoring that objective. Because right now you're scoring all of the objectives. And I need to kill this big, nasty ant destroyer thing over here one more time. It is the Oath of Moment target one more time. So Sagan Mir is going in with the boys this time. We're going to chuck in the Land Raider, everything, throw everything into them and hopefully kill it. And then as for the Catan of the Void Dragon, well, I stayed away from it. It only moves 6. One of the ways that you can mitigate the firepower of Catans coming in is stay away. So the Land Raider reversed all the way back. And what we're going to do is just hose down this objective here. This will hopefully stop you scoring 15 points on the primary and hopefully get me investigate signals and secure no man's land. So we'll start all the way back over here with the shots that are come raining in to the Necrons, holding on to your backfield objective. A few dice rolls later, I fired everything in to the back corner over here and didn't kill any. They're still very much alive. It's winning on 5s with a 3-up save. It's they're tough. They're hanging in there. Okay, let's... You see, I don't... All right, let's start down here. Let's put the Centurions into your Chronomancer squad. They're only firing at the Chronomancer squad. Starting off with the Centurion Bolters, or Nipple Bolters. Now, I have Decimation Protocols, so if you're in range of an objective mark, I reroll all hits. Because the Chronomancer makes me -1 to hit. So 4s. Rerolling. Strength 4. Toughness and Mortal, 5s to wound. But these are twin linked. So reroll a wound. It's only 3 wounds. 3 3-up saves on your immortals.
3 3-up saves coming up.
You make them all. Look at that. Now the grav cannons hit on 4s with the full reroll. And these are strength 6. So I'm wounding on 3s. And that's only 3 wounds at -1 AP. The anti-vehicle guns.
So,
Not very good against infantry. 3 4-up saves.
4-up saves.
I take down 2 of them. Then the Dreadnought fired in Stormbolter, didn't do any wounds. Here's the Multi-Melter. Both of them hit. 3s to wound. 1 wound, and at this range, that'll just kill 1. See, the thing is, I'm running out of gun. I'd really like to put some of the anti-tank weaponry from those 2 tanks into your big Stalker over here, into the big Canoptic Construct. But there's still far too many on my home objective. So the Predator, let's split fire. The Predator will put his autocannon that way and the las cannons into your big Canoptic Construct, okay? Because the Land Raider can also see it. So let's do the las cannons into the big Canoptic Construct. And it is the Oath of Moment target, so I get to re-roll. Doesn't help me, both of them miss. Then the Predator autocannon in rapid fire range hits on 4s, and that's only 2 hits. At strength 9, I need 3s to wound. It would be AP -1, but I'm firing at infantry, so AP -2. So 2 5-up saves on 2 more immortals, and you make another save, only 1 falls over. Alright, there's 1 lone marine left in there, and he's not battle shocked this turn. So he pulls out a pin and chucks a grenade at the immortals right in front of me. You roll 6 dice, and on 4s, the mortal wound. 1 mortal wound, at least I kill 1, and then he pulls out his gun and he hits once and he doesn't wound, but at least he kills 1. So how many are left? 5 are left with your Chronomancer. Still too many, but I'm not going to fire the Land Raider yet. We're coming over here to Sagan Mear's unit that wants to shoot and charge your big Doomstalker thing. What is it called?
Seraptic Heavy Construct.
Seraptic Heavy Construct. Firing all the things. Are you doing the 4-up invulnerable save? Because there's going to be a cyclone missile launcher going into it as well.
Not yet. I think for now we're going to let him take it on the chin.
He's going to take it on the chin.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a lot of Stormbolters. Now, I'm in combat, so I'm hitting on... You're in combat, so I'm hitting on 3s. But you're the Oath of Moment target, and 6s are sustained, because there's a Librarian in there. It's quite a lot of 6s. Yeah, I would be hitting on 4s because you're in combat, but +1 to hit Terminators against Oath of Moment target. But 6s to wound anyway. How many more 6s can I get? 3. 3 3-up saves. I take another wound off. He's back down to 12. And then the Cyclone missile launcher against the Oath of Moment target hits twice and sustained and 5s to wound. 1 more wound, 5-up invulnerable save, which you fail, and this will do D6 damage. For a flat 5 damage. Okay, so Land Raider Crusader, is 7 wounds enough on the Canoptic Construct for when I go... I don't think so. So we're going to do the Multi-Melter in the Assault. We're going to do the Multi-Melter into that. And then we're going to do the Assault Cannon and the Rapid Firing Bolters, which are not in rapid fire range, down into this unit with your Plasmancer over here. Here's the Multi-Melter with Oath of Moment. 1 of them hits. I need a 9, a 5. What am I talking about? Strength is strength 5. Strength 9, which is... Now, it don't wound. It doesn't wound. Then a Twin Assault Cannon firing down the field. Hits on 3s. and then wounds them on 3s. It is twin linked. And there's 2 threat saves.
Threat saves.
I take out one of them, and let's do a bunch of hurricane bolters off camera. 2 more got taken out, and that is Land Raider number 1. We're on to Land Raider number 2. I haven't touched the Void Dragon yet. Let's put the heavy bolters from the Land Raider into this squad of Immortals climbing all over on my objective. And even though it's on 7 wounds remaining, I don't trust the charge. I think I'm going to put the 4 las cannons from the Land Raider into the Oath of Moment target. If I kill it in shooting and we don't make a charge, well, at least I've killed it. So 4 las cannons into big construct. Do you want to spend your 4 up and vulnerable save now? Or do you think he's not long for the world because the charge in anyway? The decision is yours. Hello.
I'll keep the CP.
You're going to keep the CP?
Yeah, I'm going to keep the CP.
Okay. 4s to hit it. With Oath of Moment. Yeah. I hit 3 times. 3s to wound it. I wound it 3 times. Sorry, 4s to wound, not 3s to wound. You've got 5 up and vulnerable save, but only 1 came through. And if I fail the save, d6 damage. Plus 1. It's only 2 damage. Okay, so just a tickle. Let's see if I can tickle the Immortals on 4s. 1 hit, but it is sustained at least. Strength 5 versus Toughness 5 with twin linked means I managed to put 1 more wound on the Immortals, 1 4-up save, and I take out 1 more. There's 4 left, holding on to my home objective. Now finally, the last thing left to fire is Honoured Brother Matthias. Need to take the central objective. 2 multi-melters into these destroyers point blank. One of them misses. At least it wounds. AP -4, you are in cover. If you roll a 6, you'll be fine. You're infantry in cover.
True.
You don't roll a 6, and in multi-melter range, that kills 1. Then I fired the Stormbolter in, tickled off another wound, and that is the end of my shooting phase. So, killed a few Immortals over here, whittled this big construct down to 5 wounds remaining, whittled the unit down, holding on to my objective to 5 models remaining, and ran away from a Catan. No, tactically repositioned away from the Catan. So now we're going to do some charges. I mean, everyone is charging everything. The Tactical Marine, the Centurions, the Dreadnought, and my Terminators. Here we are after the charge phase. Successful charges all round. I could hardly fail. I did the assault from the lone Marine down here into the Immortals, and he failed to wound, but now we're on to the Centurions with their Centurion fists. They're not great in close combat. They normally hit on 4s, but Chronomancer means I'm hitting on 5s. I hit twice. At strength 5 versus toughness 5, I do 1 wound, and that's -1/2 damage on Centurion fists. And you make the save. Okay, we're on to Dreadnought. The Dreadnought hits on 4s and misses. We miss. So I went charging in with everything. Caused no damage. At least I've OC'd you off of it for now.
Yeah.
You score first, then reanimate. So you're not going to get the points for that one. Okay. We're coming across to my Dreadnought. This Dreadnought definitely isn't going to miss. This is Honoured Brother Matthias against your Scorpec Destroyers. Going to hit them on 3s with his massive Fist of Doom. He only hits 3 times. He's going to wound on 2s. At least he wounds all 3 times, and they need 5-up saves. Each failed save will kill 1.
5-ups are coming.
And I only kill 1, which means I haven't OC'd you off of that objective, which means I won't get to secure No Man's Land. With a calamity unfolding in the middle of the battle grid, I can't let lightning strike twice. So I'm spending a CP on Honor, the chapter, on my Terminators, giving them the Lance ability. This massive construct must die. At least I can remove it from the battle grid, potentially. I'm hitting it on 2s with Oath of Moment, and that's what Terminators do. 6s are sustained. Re-rolling to hit for Oath of Moment. And then 4s to wound with Power Fists, because I gave that unit Lance. 9 5-up saves. You fought for a moment about giving it the 4-up and Van, but you feel like this might be too much.
I think it might be his time has come, but we'll see.
Yes. His time has definitely come. Please don't blow up. It's going to be very painful as you're right close to me.
It's a D6 plus 6 explosion.
Is it?
Goes off, so all we need is one level 6.
That's a 6. Well, mate, it's not D6 plus 6. I've just pushed a little bit of poo back in again. It's D6 plus 2. D6 plus 2 on the pod kills the pod. It's on 3 wounds remaining, but how many mortal wounds do you put on Sagan Mear's unit? That's 1. That's only 3 mortal wounds. You only kill 1 of the Terminators. However, the drop pod will blow up on a 6 as well. We're okay. There's no chain reactions. At least I took down this big, nasty construct. And now the Necrons get to fight back. So, Scorpic Destroyers versus Honoured Brother Matthias. Round 2. Spending your second plasma sight for devastating wounds. 3s to hit.
3s hit. Only rerolling 1s this time because...
you didn't charge. Yeah. And there's a 1. And that's the only one you dropped. So everything hit. 5s to wound, 2 6s, and you take him out. And there's 3 6s. You take down Matthias. And he doesn't blow up either. Then we did the combat down here next to my home field objective. No wounds were caused on either side. And that is the end of Space Marines. Turn 3. Now, I do pick up 2 points for investigating signals over there. But you pick up 3 points for defending your stronghold. So in my turn, you actually outscore me 3 points to 2. And you're going to get 5, 10, 15 points on the primaries, so long as this unit of guys down here pass a battle shock test. But you have got a CP, so you can auto pass the battle shock test if you want to. You got CP over there. You're going to get 1 in your turn anyway. You're spending the CP?
Yeah, we're spending CP at the beginning of my turn.
Whenever you can spend CP to gain VP, you should always do that. So you're going to pick up 17 points at the start of your turn 3. We need to add up a lot of points now. Now, you've got Tesla Immortals and Death Marks and these guys and lots of reanimation to do. At least this unit of Chronomancer with the Immortals back here can't jump back into the Hyperstasis Crypts, because they're in engagement range. And at least I've got rid of the Monolith and the big nasty Canoptic Doomstalker ant thing of Doom. I forget its name. Brain. As we go on to Necrons turn 3. Adding up all the things, the Necrons are in the lead by 11 points. 38 points to 27. And with the orders, no prisoners. They just want to kill as much as possible. But they've lost quite a bit of their offensive output. And captured the enemy outpost is worth 8 points. So you picked up the Death Marks.
Yep.
And you picked up the Tesla guys over here that got shot last turn.
Yes.
And we haven't done reanimation yet. Because this is quite critical. Because you did pass Battle Shock on these guys. We did that. But I've got no... We've worked out that if you reanimate 2 Immortals here, then you capture the enemy outpost and you get 8 points. Because your OC will be higher than my OC by 1. That's if they fall back, reanimate 2.
Yes.
Yes? Is that what you want to do?
I think that's the plan.
So,
reanimation.
Don't roll a 1 or 2.
That's the plan.
And you get 8 points. That's a 5. So at the end of the Necron's movement phase, the Chronomancer and his unit reanimate models, get back up again, and they capture the enemy outpost. This unit has scored you so many points. That's 8 for capturing enemy outposts, and an 8-point swing last turn for stopping me defending that. Yes, they're a sacrificial unit, but racking up you a 16-point swing is huge. Talking about huge things, we have a Satan Shard of the Void Dragon, and because I reversed so far away from him, he couldn't get in range of anything. So you've left him over there, holding down this flank. If I come near him with any of my army, no doubt he'll jump on them. He's still in range of that objectives, and the Death Marks have teleported in there to double team that objective as well. Because your secondary, one of your secondaries is no prisoners, and by dropping them in there, they've got line of sight onto a unit here. 1 hero Space Marine sat down here. Kill him, worth 2 points. Scorpic Destroyer staying still-ish, shuffling around a bit in the middle of the battle grid. And the Hexmark Destroyer stood directly on top of your home field objective as well. So you've still got 3 primary objectives. And then the other unit of Tesla Immortals have dropped in here, because no prisoners is the thing. Kill as much as possible. So we'll start the shooting phase down here. What was that?
No, I'm just saying that I'm already regretting not charging the Scorpions,
You
because that's
can
what they love
charge.
to do.
You can charge. You can move. It's not chess. If you want to move them round and come closer to Sagamir and the First Company Elite, I'm happy for that. You're not sure this is a good idea.
No,
But this is peer pressure for you.
it is, and they're Scorpion destroyers. I mean, come on, that's what they would want.
They're very angry. Destroyers, they're inflicted with the destroyer virus. You know, destroyers keep going and going and going on a planet until every bit of life, even microbial life, is completely wiped out. Once this battle is over, all the other Necrons are going to leave and leave these guys here to keep going. And they're going to be attacking leaves, ants, bugs, anything if they're still alive. Brilliant stuff. Okay, let's do some Tesla death into my unit down here. 14 shots, 3s to hit.
So, 3s to hit.
Yes.
Rerolling everything.
Yes, 6s go boom boom twice.
A lot of 6s.
That's a lot of hits already.
Even 5s go boom boom twice. In fact.
Oh yeah, 5s go boom. And that's, wow. Wowie wow wow, that's like 10. That's like 30 hits already. And that's not very many more. Much hits, big wow. Wounding on 3s. Rerolling 1s, and that's what models do. So, lots of threat saves to make. But each only does 1 damage. It only does 1 damage. It's 1 dead marine, 2 dead marines, 3.5 dead marines. There's 1.5 left. And then the Plasmancer. First pointing his finger of doom. 4s do mortal wounds. There's 2 mortal wounds. So 1 marine is left on 1 wound. Plasmancer shooting.
3 attacks, hitting on 4s, but rerolling every hit.
Yes. 1 hit.
So it's the 1 hit. Strength 7, so 3s to wound.
1 wound. AP.
AP is 3, damage 2.
AP is -3.
AP 3, plus
Wow.
1 pounds.
So you're saying there's a chance. On a 6. I don't get a 6. You kill your first unit, that's 2 points for no prisoners. And now 5 death marks are going to try and get you 2 more points for killing this lone Space Marine down here. 1 minute. I've got cover. And you're AP -2.
Yes.
Do I Armour of Contempt 1 lone here? Of course I do. Of course I Armour of Contempt him. 3s to hit me. You only hit 3 times. 3s to wound me. You wound me 3 times. I need 3 up saves 3 times over to stop you getting 2 points. I make it! Now, because the Necrons are running out of assets, the last thing left to fire is the Catan with his Voltaic Storm into the Land Raider one more time. Last time he stripped a load of wounds off. This time, you don't get as many shots.
Just the 5 shots this time.
Which
So,
hit on 2s.
2 sustained hits 2, that is...
Yeah, no sustaining. You got another dice.
No.
You only get 4 hits. Zinch said, see, that's what happens when you forget Zinch. Zinch is like, nah. All right, 5s to wound.
5s to wound.
Nothing.
No wounds.
That is the end of your shooting phase. Okay, you got 2 points so far. Kill another unit, you get 4 points. We have a charge. We had Scorpec destroyers into Terminators. Looks like a 3 or 4 to me to make this charge. Was this foolish? Was this folly?
Absolutely, but let's do it anyway. 6 if they're in.
Yeah, I mean, this is what destroyers do. 12 attacks coming through. I've spent a CP on Armour of Contempt again. It's a new phase. I'd really not like to take him here to disappear. 3s to hit with your 12 attacks.
I'm rerolling everything.
Rerolling everything because you charged, but no devastating wounds because you spent all your plasma sights.
Yeah, gone.
That's pretty good hitting.
Pretty good.
Wounding on trees.
3 to wound.
Yeah. I've got to make a chunk of 3 up saves. That kills 1 Terminator and puts 1 down to 1 wound remaining. Okay, you killed a Terminator. Terminators get to fight back. Thank you for doing the glory thing, by the way. Thank you for doing what destroyers
What they would have wanted.
would do. You're winning by loads of points anyway, it's fine. 3s to hit you. Those 6s explode, sustained hits with Librarian. Strength, high. Wounding on 3s though, because toughness, high. 6 wounds?
6 wounds.
6 5-up saves. Each doing 2 damage. You make 3 of them. So that's 1 dead and 1 on 1 wound, and then Saganmere will raise his force axe. Hitting on 3s. 6s are sustained.
Nice.
Strength 6, toughness 6, 4s to wound. 5 wounds. Chief Librarian Saganmere going ham. They're -1 though, so a chunk of 4-up saves and you're good. You're not good. It's D3 damage a time. So the first one kills a dude. The second one doesn't kill a dude. And then doesn't kill a dude. There'll be one left on one wound hanging in there. So with destroyers charging Terminators with Tesla Immortals deep in the 13th lines with big gaps in the middle of the battlefield and Necrons spread out all over the place. They pick up a lot of points again, and I'm only going to pick up 5 points on the primary in turn 4 for being on this objective here as we go on to Space Marines turn 4. The Necrons are now 16 points in the lead, 48 points to my 32, and I need to get behind enemy lines. Unfortunately, I've already done that with my drop pod and the team in their deployment zone. Extend my battle lines means I absolutely must kill that unit of Tesla Immortals that are rampaging right next to my home field objective. So, while this squad of tactical heroes down there here are behind enemy lines for the 5 points, I need to extend my battle lines by getting rid of this unit, locking down that objective, and holding on to this one as well. I've spent a CP on adaptive strategy, so Sagan Mear's unit are suddenly using the tactical doctrine. They can fall back, shoot and charge. I didn't necessarily need to do that. I could have kept the CP elsewhere, but I'd really like to have extra firepower to get rid of that. Maybe focus on some death marks, and then of course all the firepower that's going to come down this way into this unit of Immortals, which are my Oath of Moment target. I need these dead. So let's shoot them. Here's the Centurions. Here's the Bolt of Fire, force to hit. Rerolling everything Oath of Moment, or their own baked in ability. This will be 5s to wound the Tesla Immortal unit. The Emperor must die. 3 wounds, just 3 wounds. 3 3-up saves on your Tesla Immortals. This should kill 1. Doesn't kill any. Grab weaponry on 4s, and then re-rolling, and then 3s to wound them. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 4-up saves on these.
4-up saves.
I only killed 2. Then the Dreadnought fighting with the Stormbolter and bounced. Here's the Multi-Melter with the re-roll, and that misses. This unit is causing me problems. The Lone Hero. He hits both of the times. He wounds once, of course he does. This will definitely kill 1. Unless you roll a 6, so it doesn't...
That's cocked.
It definitely kills 1. He does kill 1. Okay, that's 1 more down. That's 3 down. Let's do Predator Autocannon at point blank range. 4s to hit with the full re-roll. So that is 3 hits. 3s to wound. 2 wounds, and this will be 5-up saves from the Predator. Kills another one. That's 4 down, and las cannons into Immortals. I guess I'm doing it. Las cannons into Immortals. 1 of them hits. Will wound on a 3. It wounds a 6-up save. That's 5 dead. Right. Land Raider number 1, Crusader. The pintle mounted multi-melter. He's going to wheel it round and shoot your Scorpic Destroyer in the butt. All the other guns coming into the 2 remaining Immortals with the Chronomancer. Here's the Multi-Melter into your Scorpec, and I hit once, and I don't even wound him. Here's the Assault Cannon. This needs 4s with the reroll, and then this will wound on 3s, and it is twin linked. 6s are devastating. Only 4 wounds. 4 more. 3-up saves. Okay, we're down to just the Chronomancer. This is proving, this is a chore, right? This is proving a lot harder than it should be. There's all the Hurricane Bolters, right? We're wounding him on, I think he's toughness 4.
Yeah, I think he is.
But this, at the time this attack is unloading into him. Oh no, these are just 4-ups. What I'm talking about. They're 4-up saves, 3-up saves.
He's a 4-up invulnerable.
He's a 4-up invulnerable.
Yeah.
5 4-up invulnerable saves on the Chronomancer. He's on 2 wounds remaining.
There's 4 wounds.
I think I've extended my battle lines, and you're not reanimating any more dudes in, because that unit's been wiped out. The Chronomancer might recover some wounds. So I'm on to the Land Raider. Okay, I'm on to the Land Raider and Sagan Mear's mob over here. Okay, so the Storm Bolters from Sagan Mear's mob are going into the Death Marks. And then the Cyclone Missile Launcher and his Psychic Smite is going to come back and try and hit this Scorpec, okay? Here's Stormbolters into Death Marks. No sustained hits there. These are going to need 5s to wound. Wow, 5 wounds. That's the first company for you. Death Marks have a 3-up save?
They do have a 3-up save.
3-up save, okay.
So they get cover? No, maybe not. I don't know if it counts.
They already have a 3-up save, so it can't improve above. Yeah. I killed 2 of them. Cyclone Missile Launcher into Scorpec. 1 hit. Will wound on a 3. 1 wound. He needs a 5-up save. He's got 1 wound remaining. He doesn't make the save. A missile launcher explodes his head off. At least that's the end of the Destroyer Plague on this planet. And then Land Raider. And I said off camera, I'm going to put everything into Catan. But 4-up invulnerable save, half all damage, 5-up feel no pain. But if I shoot at the Death Marks, then you haven't got 2 units over there. You can't pick them up to do any more shenanigans. If I kill the Death Marks, you'll have a Catan, Hex Marks in this unit here. You just have 3 units left. Exactly. Oh, sorry, I forgot the Chronomancer and the Chronomancer as well. You're winning by 16 points, but you'll only have 3 units left. So I'm going to put Las Cannons and Heavy Bolters into Death Marks. Let's start off with the Heavy Bolter into the Death Marks. I hit once. There's toughness 5?
Toughness 5, yeah.
Twin linked. I don't wound him. Okay. Can 4 Godhammer pattern las... Drop both they can. 4 las cannons kill him? Well, 3 of them hit. 3's to wound.
I hope 2's to wound.
2's to wound? Are they toughness 4? Oh yeah, it's the last cannon.
Yeah, last cannon.
Yeah, they're all wound. -3 becomes -2 because you've definitely got cover.
So 5-up saves.
5-up saves. There's 1 Death Mark remaining. What a G. Hanging in there. That is the end of my shooting. Oh no, I got some shots here. We're going to fire into the Mortals. Yep, I fired the Tactical Squad in the Necron deployment zone and managed to kill 1 more of the Tesla Mortals up here. So there's 6 left with the Plasmancer. That is the end of the shooting phase. Let's charge the Chronomancer into the Dreadnought. Let's get this over with. Let's take him down. Mind you, he has a 4-up invulnerable save as well. Yes. So let's just kill him. This should work, right?
He's
should
down
work.
to 2 wounds as well.
4's to hit him. He's no longer the Oath of Moment target. Because he's a unit of his own now. 2 wounds come through. 2 4-up invulnerable saves or death. Death.
Do I CP rerolls? He's in combat, so I can't pick him up and drop him. So
no.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it?
No.
So I do take him down. That's the end of the Chronomancer. And all that remains for the Necrons is a unit of 1 Death Mark, but there's going to be a couple coming back again. An untouched Catan Shard Star God thingy. And a unit all the way over here. And the Hex Mark. And the Hex Mark holding on to your home objective, as we got the Necrons stand for. So I picked up 10 points on the secondaries, but the Necrons pick up 10 points on the primaries at the start of their turn. So they're still 16 points in the lead. And they want to engage on all fronts, get into 4 table quarters with their 4 units, and storm a hostile objective. At the end of the Necrons movement phase, this unit of Tesla Immortals lands here with cosmic precision. And they've stormed this hostile objective. You OC me off of that one. And with the other 4 units you have, this Hexmark Destroyer is in that table quarter. The Catan is in this table quarter. And the unit of Death Marks appeared over here. Because you also spent a CP to reanimate while you're off the table. Putting 1 Death Mark back. And an Immortal or 2 back. Yeah, so you're engaging on all 4 table quarters for 5 points. You've stormed the hostile objective for another 5 points. And now they're going to unleash their guns. Then we ran through the shooting phase. The Voltaic Staff of the Nightbringer putting 2 more wounds on the Land Raider. And then the Tesla Immortal shooting everything at Sagan Mir's unit and pointing the stinky finger at him. And Sagan Mir still untouched on full wounds. 2 of the Terminators died and there's 1 left. On 1 wound remaining, and you've engaged on all fronts and stormed a hostile objective, which gets the Necrons up to 68 points at the end of turn 4. Then in turn 5, I'm only going to pick up 5 points for this objective here, making it 47 points in turn 5 to the Necrons 68. I'm 21 points behind. which means I'll need to pick up 21 points on the secondaries just to draw. And the Necrons are going to get 5, 10, 15 on their objectives on the primaries at the start of turn 4, at the end of turn 5, because you went second, so you're going to score at the very end of the game. So at this point, there's no coming back for the 13th, despite the fact the Hypercrypt Necrons have been cut down and cut down and cut down. Their maneuverability has just outscored the Space Marines this day. So at this point, the 13th will withdraw. And this is the way the world ends. Then we went away and had a look at cards and things and what would have happened if we'd have played it to the next turn. We think the Space Marines would have capped out at 57 points, which is 67 with the painting standard. And the Necrons would have capped out at around 81 points, which would have been 91 with the painting standard, because you've had to move off a couple of these. Well, these are probably dead, with the Terminators, with the Land Raider, with the Predator, and these unit of Tesla Immortals don't have any of that -1 to hit annoyingness.
No.
So they would probably be not long for this world. But with painting standard 67 to 91, it's a happy, big victory for the Necrons. How do you feel?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, they're nice, the Hypercrypt Necrons. They're super mobile. They're just really good at scoring stuff. Even though, like, I don't have much left on the board.
Yeah.
They're still just picking up the points constantly. I think the MVP unit was the Immortals there with the Chronomancer just dropping in and denying you points and taking capture enemy outposts. That was a lucky draw at that time, but yeah, I think they were the MVPs.
Ace, do you normally run Hypercrypt or do you play around?
I play around. I like Canoptic as well with the Doomstalkers and all that other stuff, and I've tried the Awakened Dynasty as well, which is quite good. So I think there's a lot of good options in the current Necron Codex.
It's a good codex, isn't it?
Yeah, really good.
I think it's a solid bit of work, that codex,
Yeah.
and it's not too difficult to play. You don't need a PhD to work it all out or anything.
No.
So it's good. And honestly, if you've got not a lot of units left at the end of the table, but you rack up 91, 95 points, then you've used each of your units as effectively, as efficiently as possible. The fact that I've got a lot left means I wasn't that efficient with my units. I just had to leave a lot here to clear away that squad down here. And a Chronomancer, Chronomancers with Immortals, I run them all the time. Yeah. It's a very good unit. In the end, the Catan didn't do very much.
I don't think he did it. Well, he did a couple of wounds on the Land Raider.
Yeah.
That's it. Didn't see combat.
Well, you brought 3 resilient things along. He's resilient as all hell. And plus the 2 big vehicles as well. So killing 2 out of 3 of them ain't bad.
No, that's a pretty good effort.
2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf said one time. So, and it's a victory for the Necrons. But Sagamir still alive.
Yes.
So we're going to take off and nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Anyway, thank you for coming all the way down from Switzerland and things. Do you have an Instagram or anything you want to shout out?
Not really. I'll shout out Winters. You know, go follow. Join, be a member, and of course I have to shout out Guy from Winter Minis for taking his paint scheme. So,
yes.
That's it.
Your club. Do you want to shout out your club in case there's any Swiss people watching it, or the shop? Where do you play?
Tabletop shop.
Tabletop shop where?
In Basel.
So if you're in Basel, Basel,
oh, take your pick.
Basel Faulty, somewhere in Switzerland, check out the tabletop shop. You told me off camera that it's the owner lets you have the key, or the members can play even when he's not around.
Yeah, he's pretty good like that. Yeah.
He sounds like a legend, man. Sounds like an absolute legend. But again, thank you for coming all the way down. That was a really fun game. Thanks and things, and I lost, and it's okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. Happy wargaming.